Hello, guys. Welcome to another live stream with Magic the Gathering as the goal here. And today we're gonna look at my mono blue spell deck, which I made. Yeah, I did show it to you a little bit on the Magic the Gathering explain video, but now I'm gonna go through it card by card with you guys and maybe get some suggestions from you on how to improve it and stuff. Yeah. Because I may need to improve my land count, because I think my land count is a bit low, so maybe you can help me with that. I need about 36 lands, and that's the meta for all these commander decks, I believe. Yeah. This is the commander. He's the Terran Sky Summoner. Yeah, so whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2-2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So that's what he does, and I got, well, lots of spells and instances in this deck, but I also got some creatures. So we're going to find out if maybe I'm just replacing these creatures with just spells instead. But we'll see. I also got this, which is in my maybe pile, as it were. But it's a really powerful spell, so I should try to get this in there, because because I get to control creatures and planeswalkers with it. So it just basically means I take control of my enemy's creatures. As long as the spell isn't countered, of course. Yeah. So pretty cool. So I should try to get this in my deck. It isn't in my deck as of now. And my deck looks like this. It's blue sleeve, no, green. Sorry, it's a bit early in the morning, I guess. Yellow sleeves on it, yeah, and it's Dragon Shield and looking pretty cool. Yeah. And it was also kind of cool since it's yellow and it's blue, so that's the Swedish and Ukrainian flag colors right there. But that's something else. Okay, first things first. Here is I'm just gonna go through them card by card from top to bottom here. So that means here we have my decks. I'm just gonna take card by card from top to bottom and go through it with you guys. First, we have land here. I believe that land is from the Fallout series. I'm not sure, but I think so. The artwork, anyway. But this card has come in many different types throughout the years. Yeah. And here you get 1 generic mana, and you can pay 3 to surveil. And as explained on the card, look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. So yeah, I think I did say that you could put it on top of your library or on the bottom of your library at one point, but that's not true. So it's not that good. Yeah. Undercover Thema, thank you. Nice to have you joining us, man. Yeah, so that's a land. So that means the land count is now 1, as you can see there. Yeah. Second is Scatter Arc. It's counter target non-creature spell. It's an instant, and you also draw a card. So, but it's a bit expensive though. It costs 4, but it's a counter spell, and I guess I need to have counter spells since this is a blue deck. So, I guess that's okay. Hello, Virog. Zoki. How's your day doing, man? You doing good? Yeah. Hope you're having a nice day so far. Cool. Next, we got Summary Dismissal. This is even more expensive. It costs 4. But it reads, exile all other spells and counter all abilities. So this is a sort of a kill all the spells kind of card. And it's an instant and it's a counter, so I guess I need to keep that as well. Another land. That's cool. And we're doing a land count here, so I guess I get to count my lands to see how many lands I got. I need 36 in here to make this viable deck, but I don't know how many lands I got in here. I think I have a bit few. Okay, moving rapidly on then to my deck. Here we have Deep Analysis. It's a sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards. And I also get to cast this from my graveyard, which is cool. That's called Flashback. But I have to pay 3 life though, and pay 2. So pretty cool. It's nice to draw cards in blue. So here we have another land. So that makes this my 3rd land that I have in my deck at the moment. Yeah. And please, guys, just leave suggestions for me if you got some cool sorceries or instant spells that you know of that I need to include in my deck. Yeah. Here we got Forbid. It's a pretty old card, but you can actually buy it back if you discard 2 cards. So, and it's a counterspell. So, yeah, quite obvious why I need to keep that in my deck right here. Evacuation costs 5. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Yeah, it's a stop all attackers from being annoying kind of card. But it doesn't kill the creatures, they just return to hand. But it's a way to slow your opponents down. But that means, of course, my creatures as well. So here we got Patient Rebuilding. I'm not too sure about this card though. It's an enchantment and it doesn't affect my commander because my commander gets Drakes out only by sorceries and instances. But just let's read this card and see if it's any good. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Then you draw a card for each land card put into the graveyard this way. Yeah, so it's a way to mill your opponent's library and you get to draw cards. So I guess it's not too bad. I can put it in my maybe pile and maybe I'll find something else that's better or something. This is Sunken City. It's an enchantment and it reads all blue creature gets +1/+1 during your upkeep, pay 2 or destroy Sunken City. So yeah, so it traps 2 of my mana indefinitely, but all my creatures get +1/+1. So, and I guess that's cool because then I got maybe 3 or 4 drakes in play. So instead of 2/2, they're 3/3. So they do more damage. So I gotta keep that. Another land. So that makes this the 4th land in my deck. What's this? It's copy catchers. Okay. Whenever you surveil, you may pay 2. If you do create a token that's a copy of copy catchers. I do have some surveil effects in this deck, so yeah, but it's not a really powerful creature, really. It's just a 2/1, but if I have this in play, though, then it suddenly is a 3/2. So, yeah, pretty cool, nonetheless. Yeah. Supreme Will. It's I get to choose 1 and counter target spell unless its controller pays 3, and look at the top 4 card of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest at the bottom. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's a way to have more control of what cards out there on my deck, and I also have a counterspell in here. So pretty obvious why this needs to stay, and it's an instant. So that also activates my commander, and I get a Drake in play. So another land, as it were. So that makes this my 5th land, which I have. Yeah. Another land, when Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield, tapped unless you control 3 or more other islands. When Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant resource card from your graveyard on top of your library. So this land is also pretty awesome. And that makes this my 6th land. Yeah. This is just an artifact with you have no maximum hand size. And I included this because, well, I'll be drawing a lot of cards in this deck, so I need to have a few of these. Otherworldly Gaze. It's an instant. Surveil 3. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on the top of your library in any order. Yeah. And it's also got a flashback. Cool. Oopsie daisies. Propaganda looks like that. There's also been other variations of this card in the artwork, but it's still the same card. Each turn, each creature cannot attack you unless its controller pays an additional 2 for that creature. So it is a way to stop my opponents once again, but yeah, the blue color is all about control, and I like to control what's going on, so nice. I feel sorry for this guy though. He looks he's in a kind of predicament. Yeah. Return target permanent to owner's hand. Yeah. Pretty cool, and it doesn't cost that much. It only costs 2 to get it out there. Yeah. Another land. So that makes this my 7th land. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's awesome. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna put this guy in my maybe pile because he's obviously a commander, but I'm not sure if I need this dude in my deck. Because it's a lot of discarding, and I don't really need to discard cards in this deck. But he's going in my maybe pile, so maybe I'll keep him. I don't know. Ferris Dispersal. It's an instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Oh, that's cool. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Wow. So yeah, that's extremely cool and highly necessary. And it's got Surveil as well, so I can look at my library. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be putting too many cards in the graveyard though. Maybe I'll just rearrange them. Yeah, using the Surveil ability. Aetherflux Reservoir. We need some artifacts in this deck as well, so here we go. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. So if I cast 2 spells this turn, then I gain 3 life, for example. And it's also got another ability, pay 50 life, Aetherflex Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. So you wouldn't want to do 50 damage to a creature, you do it to players, and it's a way to just eliminate a player instantly. Pretty cool, and it's pretty obvious why this needs to stay in here, because, well, there's mostly spells in here that are sorceries and instances. But mind you, that creatures can also be spells, so if I throw a creature or summon a creature, it's still a spell, so that also gives me 1 life. Treasure Cruise. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1. So I can exile cards from my graveyard that doesn't have a payback cost. And yeah, and I get to draw 3 cards. Pretty awesome. But it only says a mana like this, so I still need to pay 1 if I do that. So that would be 7 cards I discard total to make the cost of the spell 1. Lorien Revealed. It's been a while since I've seen a land now, actually. Draw 3 cards. Island Cycling it's got as well. Discard this card, search the land for an island card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle. So yeah, I got to put a island in play, and I guess that's a land. And I need that right now, because I haven't seen lands in a while. Pretty good card, but it's a bit expensive. It's got 5, but I like the island cycling thing, so if I'm short on lands, then I can just discard it and get a land instead. Now comes one of the most powerful cards in blue. It's called Cyclonic Rift, and it only costs 2. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, which is pretty good by itself. But if you pay 7 instead, which is a hefty cost, I admit, you may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. So then the card instead reads, return each non-land permanent you don't control to their owner's hands. So that's basically, you just win the game throwing this card. Because everybody but you have to take everything they control to their owner's hands, except their lands. So, yeah. Pretty overpowered that card is. Yes. Island. So I guess this is what this card refers to. Island cycling. Discard this card, search your life for an island card. Island. Yeah. So, and that also gives me 1 more land in my deck. So that makes it 8 now. Yeah. 9. Back to basics. Non-basic lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. And this is essential, because I mostly have just basic lands in here. So if my opponents don't play with basic lands, they're pretty screwed, because this card makes all non-basic lands, they don't tap or untap. Yeah. So pretty powerful. Another land. So now we've approached the 10 landmark. This is a sorcery. It's called Ancestral Vision. And it's got suspend, so you can pay the suspend cost, which is 1, and then you put a dice on it, a 6-sided die, and you dial in 4, and each time it's your turn, you reduce it by 1. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you get to cast it. Target player draws 3 cards. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. You have to suspend it because it doesn't have a cost here. So you basically have to use the suspend. You can't cast it instantly. Well, that's cool. I haven't seen that before, actually. Please, if you enjoy my content here, consider becoming a member. That makes me want to do more of these videos, and it also supports this channel. So then I can quit my day job and do these videos even more for you guys. Laboratory Maniac. Okay. It's a creature. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. Okay. Oh yeah, the library. Okay. So if I've drawn all the cards I have in my library and I have no cards in my library, that's usually when you lose. Because you have to have cards in your library to keep playing the game. If you've spent all your cards in your library and you have no cards left, then you lose the game. For example, this is what's left on my library. Okay, the game has been going on for 3 or 4 hours straight, and that's one round. That's the second round. That's the third round. Nothing's going on because we can't attack each other because we're just too strong. Yeah. Here I get to draw 4 cards. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Whoopsie daisies. Here I usually lose the game because, well, I don't got any cards left. Yeah. But if this guy is in play, I win the game because he just basically reads, if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So, yeah. So it's a pretty powerful card. Yeah. And I got a few draw cards in here, but I don't see a scenario anytime soon where I have no cards in my library. That would be a very long game indeed. Yeah. But we'll see. Maybe one beautiful day it will happen. And for that reason, this card stays in my deck because it's a fun card to have. And I don't have to cast him. I can just cast him right before in case he gets killed off and stuff. A land, which means now I got 11 lands in this deck. Magassi the Water Veil. It's also a land. Yeah. Where did I put that? Okay. But it's not a non-basic land, as it were, so that will also be affected by this if I choose to play it. Non-basic lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. But Magassi the Water Veil enters the battlefield tap. Yeah, add 1 to your mana pool. Okay. Put an Eon counter on Magassi the Water Veil. Skip your next turn. Yeah, okay. So I guess this would be good early on. If you get this land in your starting hand, it's not too dangerous to skip a turn because you can just do this and you skip a turn. Because then the game's just started. And you can save this for later when you really need it. Yeah. And remove an Aeon counter from Magesi. You just tap it and you remove it. And you turn it to your owner's hand, okay? And take an extra turn after this one. So you just need one counter on it. You don't need more of them because you have to put it back in your hand. But it's pretty cool. Yeah. And that means we now have 12 lands in this deck. Next, we have an enchantment, and I think they have gone a little bit overboard on the foil here. There's lots of cool foils, and this isn't one of them, because here you have the foil almost all over the card, so it's hard to read, but we're going to try. Ley Line of Anticipation, it's called. And if Ley Line of Anticipation is in your opening hand, you may begin your game with it on the battlefield. So that means that if I have this in my starting hand, then I can just throw it out there without paying its mana cost. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Yeah. So that means that all my cards now suddenly have flash, and that's the same as an instant spell. For example, this. So all my spells suddenly get instant. So I can throw creatures out there, sorceries, what have you, instantly. Yeah. A pretty cool card to have, and that's why I'm not. I'm going to keep it in my deck. Let me just charge my phone so my phone doesn't go black while I do this stream here for you guys. Enhanced surveillance. You may look at an additional 2 cards each time you surveil. So that makes the surveil ability actually pretty strong now. Wow. Exile enhanced surveillance. Shuffle your graveyard into your library. Pretty cool. Actually quite awesome stuff. So this means that I can just throw my graveyard back in my deck and just play forever. Really. I can play it till tomorrow. I can play it till the cows come home. Really. Oh, well, okay. Repulse. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I get to draw a card and an attacking creature just goes home. Yeah. Blink of an Eye. Costs 2. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If this spell was kicked, draw a card. Okay, so if I pay 4, I get to draw a card as well. Yeah. It's cool. Another counterspell variant, cancel, costs 3, and, well, counter target spell. Pretty simple. So, and please leave a comment below if you don't know what counter means. But it just basically means that I stop a spell from being cast. So if a creature card comes into play and this creature is ultra powerful, then I can stop it. Another land. So that makes my land count go up to 13. Woo. This is an artifact. It's pretty cool. It's called Venser's Journal. And you have no maximum hand size, but it also says at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. So if I have 20 cards in my hand, I get 20 life. So yeah. Pretty obvious why this is in there, since I draw a lot of cards with this deck. Yeah. Sorcery, drag under, Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. Yeah. So it's a variation of something else in here, I believe. Where did I put that? Well, it's almost the same as another card I have in here. So no worries. No worries. Cryptic command. I get to choose one of these, and it costs 4. Counter target spell. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Tap all creatures your opponents control, or draw a card. I can't do all. No, it says 2, so I can do 2 of these, actually. Wow. Then this is ultra cool. Yeah. Pretty awesome stuff. This is a land which says you have no maximum hand size. Yeah. And I get to have 1 generic mana. And it doesn't untap when I put it in play, which makes it pretty good. So that makes this 14 lands in my deck thus far. Correction. 15 lands in my deck thus far. Yeah. Okay. We have the Night Veil Sprite going on. Yeah, she's got flying, and whenever Night Veil Sprite attacks, surveil 1. Yeah, and that basically means look at the top card of your library. So I attack, and that triggers the ability that she has. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. And she's got flying, so it's pretty obvious that my opponents may not have flying. So then I just attack, and well, if she gets blocked or not, it doesn't matter. I still get to surveil. So gonna keep that as well. Bone to Ash costs 4. Counter target creature spell. Draw a card. So this is a counter spell, but I can only counter creature spells with it. So I can't counter sorceries or instances with it. But it's still cool because it's another counter. Gonna keep that. Mystic Influence. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. So I get to choose. I can choose the same thing 3 times if I want. Counter target spell unless this controller pays 3. I can do the same thing if he pays 3, so that means he has to pay 3 more. And if he actually manages to pay 3 more, then I can do the same thing again. So then he has to pay 9 to get the spell out. 9 extra. Yeah. So he pays the spell cost. Let's say, okay, for fun's sake, he throws out this. He's got a blue deck as well. Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll hopefully see you later. Sleep well. Take care. Bye-bye. So that means he has to pay 11 for this card to actually get out there. Yeah. A pretty extreme situation now, because I don't think this card is worth paying 11 to get out, but there we go. My enemy player is kind of crazy, and he's a bit drunk, so there we go. That's how it goes. Okay. Return target creature to its owner's hand. So if there's 3 creatures attacking me, I can target 3 creatures and get them all on my opponent's hand. Or I can draw 3 cards, or I can do a mix of these. So pretty awesome, pretty powerful. And mind you that all these sorceries and instances, if my commander is in play, triggers him. So I get a 2/2 blue Drake creature token into play with flying, which is pretty awesome in itself. Yeah. Eaten by piranhas. Okay. And it's got flash, so I can cast it instantly. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is black skeleton creature with base power and toughness 1-1. It loses all other card types and creature types. Yeah. But here they've gotten a little bit too overboard with the foil again, and it's basically very hard to read this card. Another land, which is cool. So 16 lands now, guys. Pretty awesome. Whenever a player puts a creature card into play, that player returns a land he or she controls to his owner's hand. Okay, so overburden is a way to slow down my opponents, and since I don't got a lot of creatures in this deck, then yeah, it's pretty cool. Capsize, return target permanent to its owner's hand, and if I pay the buyback costs, then this suddenly costs 6 all of a sudden, but you might pay an additional 3 when you play the spell. If you do, put it into your hand instead of your graveyard. So I can do this indefinitely if I pay 6. Island, which increases my lands to 17. That's pretty cool. Like so, and now we're gonna have a small break, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, thanks for waiting. I'm back. Today I'm not doing the urge thing. I'm actually having a glass of water. So there you go. That's the glass of water. Yeah. Look at it. Cool effect, huh? I can actually do like this, and it looks even more strange. Oh well. Okay. And I just put these cards there so you had something to look at while I was getting some water and stuff. And for those of you who just joined, these are the lands in my deck thus far. Yeah. Moving rapidly on then, Tragic Lesson. It costs 3 and draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you return a land you control to your owner's hand. Okay, so pretty good, and it's an instant as well. Convolute is just another counter spell. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. But it's nice to have a lot of counter spells in this deck. So that's why it's in there. And I return a land to my hand, but that's no problem. Into the Royal. Wow, another gone bonkers foil here, but we'll try to read it. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If this spell was kicked, draw a card. So it actually costs then 4 to get it to its full potential. Yeah, but it's an instant card and it fits with my commander. There he is. So yeah, guess we gotta keep him around. Another land. $18 now. Last thoughts. Draw a card. And it's got Cipher, which means then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. Okay, so I get to do this every time I do damage to a player. I draw a card. Yeah. It's a sorcery though, so need to know when to cast it. Shark Typhoon. It's an enchantment and costs 6. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. And it's got cycling. Okay. And I get to pay a cost I choose after 2. And when you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. That's awesome. So, gonna keep that in there, even though it's an enchantment and doesn't affect my commander too much. Grand Architect. Other blue creatures you control gets +1/+1. So this is really cool. It just enhances my creatures. And there's gonna be a lot of them now since I got a few drakes in play with this card, which is my commander. That's awesome. Chasm Skulker. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Chasm Skulker. When Chasm Skulker dies, put X 1-1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk onto the battlefield, where X is the number of X1 X counters on Chasm Skulker. Yeah. And this is pretty cool because, well, then my squids are unblockable as long as enemy player controls an island. So, pretty awesome stuff right there. Yeah. Island. So now we got 19 lands in this deck, which is also quite cool. Yeah. Counter target spell unless its controller removes his or her graveyard from the game. Draw a card. So, yeah. Pretty cool, but it can't be countered if my enemy player removes his graveyard. I still get to draw a card though. Yeah. Another land, so then we can do this, and then I got 20 lands in my deck. 21. 22. Primal amulets, instant or sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on primal amulet. Then, if there are 4 or more charge counters on it, you may remove all counters and transform it. And I transform it by doing this. It's the transformer sound. And then I do like this, and it says here, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So, also quite powerful. Also quite cool. And this is not a land, as it were, since it's not transformed yet, so it counts as an artifact. So no extra lands there. Yeah. High Tide. Until end of turn, all items produce an additional 1 tap for mana. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So if I got 4 lands like this and pay 1, then I suddenly have 6 lands if I pay the other 3. Yeah. A land. 23 now. Draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. Yeah. I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile probably because it's a bit expensive. And I don't see the reason or the need for my enemy player to throw cards in his graveyard because I don't have a lot of the that effect in this deck. So I'm gonna just put this in my maybe pile, I believe, and see what happens. Brainstorm, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Pretty good. And it only costs 1, that's why it's so good. Yeah. Another land, which makes this 24 lands now. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Devastation Tide. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. And I guess that means my permanents as well. So, Miracle, you may cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it. If it's the first card you draw this turn. Yeah. So then if I draw that card and it's the first draw of my turn, then it only costs 2 instead of 5. Yeah. Mission briefing. Surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If that spell would be put it into the graveyard, exile it instead. So they're pretty good. Pretty obvious why I have to have this in here. Yeah. A land. A land. So now I have 26 lands. Approaching my sweet spot, but still a ways to go. What's this? It's Karate. Karate, I get to surveil too, and I draw a card. Okay, so I got lots of surveil effects in here, but I think that's fun. And the point of Magic the Gathering is having fun. So, and I think surveil is fun, so that's why I'm going to keep it, even though it's not that powerful. I played this card, and a friend of mine actually destroyed this enchantment. It's really not that powerful, but he destroyed it anyway. I guess he saw it as a threat. I don't know. It's called Tidal Influence. It's an enchantment, and put a tide counter on Tidal Influence. When it is brought into play, and during your upkeep, if there is one tide counter on Tidal Influence, all blue creatures gets -2, -0. If there are 3 tide counters on Tidal Influence, all blue creatures get +2, -0. When there are 4 tide counters on Tidal Influence, remove them all. You may not cast Tidal Influence if there is another Tidal Influence in play. Okay. So this is a strange one, but I'm gonna keep it because I'm waiting for that +2, -0 kind of thing. Because then my creatures are pretty strong in attack, and I just attack with them when the tide is high, as it were. A land. Nothing to see here. 27 lands now. Vivisection. As an additional cost to cast Vivisection, destroy a creature. So I just destroy one of my drakes, and it's okay. Draw 3 cards. Yeah. Not that shabby, not that bad. It's a bit expensive, but if I need to draw, I need to draw, I guess. Dream Eater. Okay, flying. It's got flash as well, so I can cast it instantly. When Dream Eater enters the battlefield, surveil 4. When you do, you may return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Okay. So, yeah. It's got surveil, so I'm just keeping it, but yeah. Yeah, okay. It's not really that good, but there you go. It's fun, nonetheless. Island. 28. Yeah. Approaching the bare bones limit of how many lands I can have in here. Here's an example of a good foil card because, well, it's foil, but the text is not foil, so you actually get to read it. Return all permanents of the color of your choice to their owner's hand. So if my opponent controls green, then I just throw this out, and he has to take all his permanents. And I guess that's lands as well. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it is. Wow. Because it just says permanence. It doesn't say non-land permanence. It says permanence, actually. So this card is more powerful than I actually thought. Good to know. Okay. Draining Welk. You may play this spell anytime. You could play an instant. When Draining Welk comes into play, counter target spell, put a X on counter drain. Yeah. I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile because it's a bit expensive. I know it's a counter spell in the form of a creature, and you get to cast it instantly. But still, I still think it's a bit expensive. A land. A land. So then I have 30 lands in here. Okay. Bird Wizard. Flying, you have no maximum hand size. And I have this in here because I need the no maximum hand size thing. This is pretty cool. It's counterbalance. It's an enchantment, but whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do counter that spell, it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. So yeah, I've played this and it hasn't happened many times. I think it's happened a couple of times while I've played this throughout my career with Magic the Gathering. But it does increase the fun factor of playing Magic the Gathering, so that's why I'm keeping it. This is a pretty powerful creature. It reads, it's called Consecrated Sphinx and it costs 6, but it's a flying, and whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. Yeah, so I get to draw a lot of cards while my opponents are drawing cards and having fun. Yeah. A land. $31. Okay. Search your library basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. It's an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 7 or more lands, transform it. So let's see what happens if I transform it then. Let's do the Transformers sound. Okay, here we go. Add 1 generic mana to your mana pool. Untap target attacking creature an opponent controls and remove it from combat. Okay. So if a guy attacks me with one of his creatures, I can just tap this land if it's untapped, and then the creature is removed from combat. Nothing else happens. The creature doesn't die, but it doesn't attack me either, sort of thing. Yeah. So pretty cool. Yeah. And I get to use this card to get more lands. So it's a 2-for-1 kind of thing. One more land. 32. So I'm suspecting there are 33 lands in this deck. Flying, when Muldra enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. Yeah. Okay, so I can either draw 2 cards and get the creature out and it's a flying, or I can just play it for its evoke cost and then I get to draw 2 cards, but I don't get the creature. So 33 lands. And this is pretty cool. It's called Gush. It costs 5 though, but you may return 2 islands you control to their owner's hands instead of paying Gush's mana cost. Draw 2 cards. Pretty awesome, pretty good, and it's an instant as well. So this is a bit expensive. It's called Opportunity. It costs 6, but target player draws 4 cards. So that's totally awesome, and why I need to keep it in there. Consider, look at the top card of your library, and I draw a card. So that's pretty cool. I get to look at the top card of my library. I get to put it back there if it's good, or throw it in my graveyard if it's not good, and then I draw a card. Watcher of Hours. Okay. Whenever you remove a time counter. Okay. So this has got flying and ward, and it's got surveil. Whenever you remove a time counter from Watcher of Hours while it's exiled, surveil 1. Okay. So it's got the surveil thing going on. So I get to, okay. And it only costs 2, which adds to the fun factor. Okay. I guess I'm going to keep it then. Yeah. Last but not least, the classic card of blue, counter spell. Counter target spell. Yeah. I hope I didn't have one more of this card though. I don't think I did. You can only have one of each card in Commander, so I gotta look through my deck again and see. There you go, guys. That's basically it. That's the whole deck. Yeah. I have some cards in my maybe pile now, which I'm considering just removing and just making lands out of them instead. It's 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will make my cards land count 37, I believe, because I got 33 now. But I'm not too sure. Having too many lands is not too good either, so. I did have one card in here, which I wanted to add, by the way. It's hidden within all this jarble. Okay, let's do this the hard way then. So now I'm just putting the cards back into my hand and adding 1 land for each third card I put in here. So yeah. And this is a way to get ready your deck for play. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm preparing my deck for play and also cleaning the place up in the process. Because we're approaching the end of our Magic the Gathering stream now, but I'm just gonna find this card that I was hoping to add, which is pretty cool. I bought it on eBay and got it for 40 kroner. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with my purchase right there. Just do something else, guys. Sing amongst yourselves. This doesn't take long, really. It's just, I'm just too slow at it. I've seen players do this really fast, and they would already be done by now, but I'm not too good at it, to be honest. But I'm soon done. That's one pile. Let's continue. Yeah. Like so. And sorry guys, I'm just gonna clean up my mess here before I continue this video. Did I add a land there? Yeah, I did. Okay. Like so, and so, and so, and so forth. Where's my land? There it is. Whoopsie daisies. There we go. And there. And like so. There's a land. Almost done. Almost done. Hang in there. Just sing amongst yourselves and do something. But now I actually learned that this card is much more powerful than I previously thought. So it also removes lands. Yeah. So I gotta remember that for the next time I play with my friends. And they're gonna get surprised. Yeah. And there we go. Okay. So it's this card right here. I want to add that. So I'll be adding that. Yeah. Because this is pretty cool. Because then I get to control other opponent's creatures if I want to do that. Yeah. And then I got these left, so 3. So that would make my land count 36, which is what I'm after. So this is just too expensive and it doesn't serve me that well. This is a counterspell with a creature attached to it. That's okay, but it's also too expensive. And this guy, even though my spells become less expensive, well, I don't have to draw a card, do I? I can just have him around and have my sorceries and spells and instances become less expensive. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm keeping him. Okay. So that would make my lands 35, which is a better land count than what I have now. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please, as mentioned, consider becoming a member. That lets me do more of these videos and consider quitting my day job and doing what I love, which is Magic the Gathering 24/7. Yeah. So there you go. And please leave a comment below if you thought this deck was cool, or if you've got some suggestions for some changes, maybe some more lands or some other spells and stuff to make it even more powerful. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.